In Camden, this sort of thing is considered modern art. This is worth an Oscar in Hollywood. But in Wigan, things are simple. It's called reality. This man looks like he's in some sort of dance troupe in the metropolis of Milan. The sad truth is, he's demented. Tony Sancroft has been bowling deliveries on the same street for the past 6 years, trapped by the tedium of Wigan's dreary heritage. They say it's something in the air they breathe. God only knows what this is. But that's all about to change thanks to a new scheme by the Regeneration of Culture and Leisure in Wigan, or Trocaliw for short. But what is it all about? I talked to event planner Mangus Legg, who is sat in a letterbox to protect his identity.
Trocaliw really is self-explanatory. It aims to regenerate and reinvent Wigan as an attractive place for both the community and people from outside of the town to enjoy.
But that all sounds a bit woolly.
Far from it. This is culturally a big step forward for Wigan, and we're cautiously optimistic that the town will be seen as something of a beacon of the North West.
And how do you propose to fund this lofty idea?
90% of the funds will come from the taxpayer, which we see as a fitting way to include the community. 10% will come from non-investment.
What does that mean?
At this stage, it's very hard to tell.
And what about now?
It's a rip-off.
Better. Trocaliw says it will help endear public places like this park in Standish. But what does that actually mean? I tracked down another planner, Cathy Dowell, to clarify the concept. How would you explain this to your average layman out there?
The scheme can be explained like a kind of fourth dimensional reality. If you imagine living within a 2D reality and you're confronted with a six-sided cube, it would appear incomprehensible. Similarly, Trocaliw will act as an agent from the fourth to the third reality.
So, funding is voluntary?
No. Funding is mandatory, but at £40 million, Wigan will be part of a radical and totally original proposal. In the end, we believe the fee will pay for itself.
But more precisely, the public will pay.
We categorically disapprove of scientism.
Good enough. The trouble is, nobody in Wigan offices had even heard of the scheme.
Is there a place called Trocaliw here? Trocaliw. Yeah. I know there's like, I think we're being told to go to Wesley House.
Wesley House is across there, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Excuse me, do you know where Trocaliw is?
I don't know if the manager in the manager in that room, you might know.
Do you know anything about Trocaliw? It's called Trocaliw. No, it's something in the. Is it the easy or something?
I think Trocalyw's in the January.
It's me. Yes. And do you know where Trocaliw is?
What, sorry?
Trocaliw.
What is it, do you know?
It's like an art scheme. It's on Shaw Street, apparently.
I don't, but Shaw Street is, do you know the train station?
Yeah. And look, do you know where Trocaliw is?
Trocaliw?
Yeah. It's an art scheme or something. It's on Shaw Street.
Did anybody know about Trocaliw? Was it a made-up scheme? I sent Will Batchelor of Radio Merseyside a text to read out. When he dismissed the text, I decided to follow it up with a call to the show.
Thanks for joining us today. Do you want to talk about why you're on?
Well, I'm a journalist from Wigan News. I've been investigating Trocaliw, which is the regeneration of culture and leisure in Wigan. Now, nobody's heard of this scheme, and they're keeping tight-lipped at the council. I've asked people on the street, nobody knows what it is. I texted your show earlier, and you pretty much dismissed it as fallacious. But if you watch...
I hope I didn't give the impression I don't.
If you watch my reports, the facts speak for themselves.
What did I say to make you think that? Because
well, it was your tone, Will, and let me tell you, they've plans for Merseyside too. Currently, they're trying to obtain £40 million from public funds, and they have investors And I know
in
you
my
said you
opinion,
opposed taking
if
from
they're
the public
shelling out
purse, Will, but
thousands at a time, either through our own pocket or through an insurance company,
yeah,
it
but
basically means
it's
the
only
same thing.
10% coming. Well, it's only
to have
90% of 40 million.
I'll say it again, if you told that to someone in the third world who's struggling to put food on the table, or indeed someone
Well,
perhaps
that's
around
what I'm,
in this country
well,
who's struggling
well,
to
look,
put food on the
that's,
table,
that's
they
what
would
I'm
think
trying to get to
you
the
had
bottom
gone
of, and
stark,
you know,
raving
it
bonkers.
does seem to be a tightly guarded secret, and to be quite frank with you, from the investigation that I've done, I think it stinks of corruption, from the council to the
I'll let you
arts
come back on this,
committee.
but you can't start throwing around allegations about
Well,
corruption.
no,
when
let me
you've
tell
got no
you,
proof
let me tell you that they're just my suspicions, and you know, I've been interviewing the project curator Stuart Robert Pat Round, who has many names to protect his identity, and he'll phone you up and he'll tell you all about corruption.
I bet that person doesn't call in because I'm fairly sure that person doesn't exist.
But he did exist, and I was lucky enough to catch the eccentric genius in the town centre. And I'm pleased to say that we can talk to the man behind it all now, the inspiration, Robert Round. Robert, obviously this has been a good scheme, but where did you get the inspiration from? The inspiration behind this? Where did you find the inspiration? Obviously,
What are you talking?
a man of few words, and you have been called an enigma, but how do you justify?
Do you mind?
And there we go. So, as ever, the enigma.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Peter Stephen Round.
Has he
in
got
this
any
town.
freaking man?
Thank you. And of course, we'll be answering questions on Twitter later on.